If you love food, but you really want to get lean and toned, this video is probably going to be an uncomfortable watch. But if you are battling to stick to your diet, no matter how good you try and make it taste, odds are the thing that you think is helping is actually the thing that's keeping you stuck. I know, because losing almost 25 kilos took me way longer than it should have thanks to getting this wrong. Fair warning though, once this idea gets stuck in your head, it is going to be very hard to get it back out. So there's a feeling that anyone who's ever dieted knows. It happens a few months or maybe a few weeks or even a few days into a diet, and you are just craving eating something that actually tastes good. You're sick of saying no, you're sick of watching the people around you eat whatever the hell they want, and you're just freaking dying to eat something that you genuinely like. So maybe you start trying to do the sexy Instagram recipes to keep things exciting, and you're making the takeaway knockoffs and doing the healthy, low-calorie versions of the food that you're craving, trying to make it as delicious as you can so that you're not missing out, but you still end up feeling the same way. Here's the wild bit though, that feeling might actually be your fault, and the thing that you think is fixing it is making it worse, not better. Let me shoot straight with you here because that's what I promised to do. If you have got fat to lose, 9 times out of 10, it is because you are a little bit too food focused. And if I'm calling you out and if that pisses you off to hear and you want to stop watching, then I give my blessing. But I'm not throwing shade at you. This is me too. Food is good. Food tastes good. It feels good. It is comforting and it is rewarding. But the reality is, it's also not just why you've got fat that you need to lose, but why you are battling to lose it too. Here's the trick. You need to stick to your diet if you want to lose weight. But if your food's gross, then you're not going to follow it. And so the only logical move, it would seem, is to make your diet taste as good as you possibly can to help you do that, right? That is what I did for years. I went deep into figuring out how to make all of my favorite foods as low calorie as I could so I could keep eating them on my diet. Low calorie ramen, low cal burgers, pizza, milkshakes, everything. And I like to cook, so it was a fun puzzle for me. If you can figure out how to make it taste better, then you can follow it easier. Genius. Except it doesn't work that way. And the reason why will feel painfully obvious after you've heard it. Imagine splurging on the most gorgeous flash mansion of an Airbnb that you've ever stayed at, right? At first, it's going to feel incredible. You got the hot tub, you got the views, you got all the luxuries. But if you stay there for the week, then no matter how nice it is, by the time you're ready to leave, it's just going to feel kind of normal to you. Except now, if you stay at just a really nice Airbnb, it's gonna feel like a step down by comparison because your standards have gone up. And if, heaven forbid, you have to stay at a hotel because that's all you can find, you might as well be sleeping under a bridge. Yes, that's maybe a little bit dramatic, but the idea is that you've reset what your normal feels like, and you kind of built yourself a trap in the process. And that is exactly what you're doing when you chase maximum delicious with every single thing that you eat. I have done it. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that will take a second steak over dessert every single time. But when the Ninja Creami took off the healthy ice cream machine, we got one, and I started going full speed, having a giant, they're bigger than pints, but a giant pint of healthy ice cream every single night just because I could. And then as a non-sweets guy, I started to crave ice cream all day. And I even started swapping out other meals of actual food just so I could eat more ice cream because it was better and more exciting. And then the machine broke, and we live in the outback, so there's no fixing it until we go to the city. And then there's me wrist deep in a tub of actual ice cream from the freezer because I just needed to get my fix. I realized that I had not been satisfying an ice cream craving every night. I had been building one, and I'd been doing the same freaking thing with all of my low-calorie foods. Every single meal that I was eating was dialed up to be as rewarding and as craveable as possible. But the more satisfying your food, the higher the baseline for what you are actually satisfied by becomes. I call it the satisfaction paradox. You've been trying to do something good. You're trying to help yourself stick to the plan, but all you've really done is make it harder and harder to feel satisfied. The more satisfaction you chase, the harder it is to achieve, and then nothing quite scratches that itch. And that's why making your diet more rewarding does not fix the problem. It just feeds it. So that's the problem. Let me show you the way out. Think about anyone in your life who's always been in great shape, or they've lost weight and they've made it permanent. The next question, what are they eating? What do their meals look like? Because I can guarantee you they are not making pretend takeaway. They're not doing low-calorie versions of their favorite junk food that they can't wait to go back to eating. Because that's not fit person behavior. That's the behavior of a person who loves food too much to let their old habits go, and they're trying to drag their old life into their new one. Fit people eat in a way that keeps them fit. That is the goal. They are eating food that is meant to keep them fueled and well-nourished and full, and that's cooked well and hopefully balanced right and seasoned in flavor. I'm not saying it's food that they hate. They're just not doing the hyper-rewarding, nothing quite scratches the itch, dopamine hit food either. Their food does a job. It keeps them fit and it keeps them healthy and it keeps them fueled. That doesn't mean it can't taste good, but it's just not been designed for the sole purpose of checking that box. And that might sound a little bit lackluster right now if you're treating food like it's kind of meant to be a party. But if you're dieting, it's not. It shouldn't be something that you have to force down. But somewhere along the way, we got a little bit too carried away with the idea that dieting should be a fun thing instead of a thing that we're doing to get a job done. And when you stop chasing maximum reward from every meal, something starts to shift a little bit. It doesn't get less satisfying. The satisfaction starts coming from somewhere else, from looking down at a plate of food and knowing that it's the kind of food that the person that you were trying to become would eat, right? From breaking the chain and getting off that hedonic treadmill. It's a little bit hippie philosophical, but you don't need every meal to feel like a treat. Most meals should just be normal. And a few of them, the special ones, should feel incredible. Have the cake, enjoy your weekends. But a treat is not a treat if you are having it all the time. We need to find a normal that we can live with. One that's rewarding enough to stick to, but it's not so hyper rewarding and sets the bar so high that anything else feels disgusting by comparison. That's what fit people have figured out, and that is what we should be going for. I'm not telling you that you need to eat chicken and rice and broccoli and to never enjoy food again. I personally love food way too much to ever tell anybody to do that. But here's the one question that I want you to take away from this video. When you look down at a plate of food that you're eating, I want you to ask, does this meal belong on the plate of the person that I am trying to become? Because I imagine that person still eats well, right? They're still enjoying food, but they're in a new shape because they stopped trying to bring their old relationship with food into the new life. And this is 100% gonna take you time. You've probably spent months, if not years, building this standard up. You are not gonna reset it overnight, but one meal at a time, bit by bit, if you start practicing finding the joy in food that makes you the person that you're becoming, instead of finding joy in the food that kept you the person you don't want to be anymore, that's the place to start. Because once you stop chasing a level of satisfaction that you can never really reach on a diet, and you shouldn't be trying to, and you start learning to enjoy what's actually good for you, I promise you it will save you years. There are, however, 3 other mistakes that I warn anyone and everyone that I can against making if they want to spend less of their life dieting. So if you want to make sure that you aren't already doing them, or what to do if you are, watch this video next and I'll break it all down.